Hi everyone, my name is Camelia, and I work with the Melt Method and therapeutic yoga. I use these special rollers which are bendable. They have a particular texture and are soft. And I use therapy balls of different sizes to affect the collagen therapy balls to affect the collagen in your connective tissue and improve neuromuscular pathways and connection throughout your body to hopefully shift out of compensatory patterns and into more efficient movement patterns. Now, why would you want to work with a specialist movement therapist one-on-one? It really depends on who you are as to what you need for your body and where to start and how to progress. And I'm going to tell you a few stories of how this actually unfolds. So if you're an elderly person who has been very physical throughout their life, or who hasn't been very physical throughout their life, and they've progressively leaned into the storytelling technique of what happens to you when you're elderly, which means you start to lose balance, you start to get stiffer, and that's just something you learn to live with. That is not real. You don't have to lose the suppleness of your body as you age. You don't have to lose balance as you age. So you don't have to start to shuffle when you walk. That's not a requirement. But if you're elderly and don't have much physical prowess, you're not like a person that's comfortable being physical, or if you've only engaged in mountaineering in like a particular sport or like running, then you might have developed certain compensations and you feel like you're physically fit, but then you start having these chronic pains and you feel that that's just how it is because you are physical or you've never been physical and that's just how it's going to be. So the place to start, if for both of these scenarios, if you are physical and if you have no physical culture, is hands and feet to stimulate collagen and fluid flow towards the upper spine and from the feet towards the lower spine, and to start to stimulate your core through specific breathing practices using the rollers. That will help you regain connectivity in your body. If you're very elderly, you cannot really come down to the floor or come up from the floor or engage like in these exercises that require core stability for you to balance over a roller. So that's where we use a chair, that's where we use the wall. These practices are simple, and the essence of working with someone one-on-one for 2 or 4 months or 6 months, I cannot overemphasize how important that is, because what you're learning with me is not the sequence itself or the exercise itself. What you're learning with me is to understand the sensation your body is giving you and to start to calibrate how strongly you engage, how fast you move forward, and when to bring in particular exercises to support particular parts of your body that are in need of attention for you specifically. So if you don't have core strength, if you've lost a lot of physical coordination because you're elderly, there are hands and feet treatments and there are simple tools to start affecting your well-being that will dramatically improve your coordination, balance, and bring back fluidity in your joint space by stimulating collagen. Now, if you are someone who's physically fit, whether elderly or younger, let's say 30, 40, because when you're younger, the thing is that the quality of your collagen is different and you can abuse your body much more intensely without feeling any pain. Also, you haven't stepped into the responsibilities of having to pay rent or think of financing an apartment, or be in a relationship where your childhood traumas start to resurface and start to exasperate the resources of your body by just stimulating some stress aspects that you have not had to deal as a young person. So I'm gonna say that the issues that start to build up in the body start around 30, 40, maybe for you even younger. If you're lucky and you start to deal with these things at a younger age, you will learn tools at a younger age. So there is really no time that's early enough to start learning neurofascial technique. But I'm gonna say 30, 40 is when things start to creep up and people cannot resolve them with traditional tools like running, going to a yoga class, spending time with friends and family, hiking. These are issues that you would need to address at the stability level, at the neurofascial level, and that's not very much understood, not even by myofascial techniques that are starting to creep out there, not even by yoga specialists who work with the connectivity system of the body, but you need a very particular understanding of neurofascial clinical understanding of the body and how to use compression techniques with rollers and balls to get out of these compensatory practices. And there is different layers. There is connectivity layer, there's hydration layer, there is release layer of your lower back and neck, and then there is the rebalance layer where we work with the diaphragm specifically. So if you're a younger person, then like 30, 40, I mean young, that young, and you're physically fit, then what you might have experienced is whether you fell out of active physical practice because you were having a child, or you just got too busy on your desk-bound job, and then you got back into physical practice and you're like, oh my God, I'm feeling great. Like I'm like feeling the buzz, I'm feeling great, it's amazing, my dopamine levels are going up, and then all of a sudden you have a small injury, and then you have to like kind of wobble around with that, and then you keep doing your practice. If only I do more stretches, if only I strengthen more, this that, and it's a seesaw where you're becoming a stronger, more dysfunctional body, but your compensatory practice patterns are not falling off, and you just feel like, well, that's how it is, you just get injuries. That is not how it is. I got into chronic pain in my 30s when I was in a very dysfunctional relationship, and I was always physical. Maybe I fell out a little bit of active physical practice, but I started going this piercing pain in my hips that I couldn't deal with, and I just couldn't. It was traumatic because I hadn't experienced such intense chronic pain. Like I've always had little problems, but that was like right to the core of me, and physios couldn't help me because all they gave me was to stretch my hips. That is not going to fix a stability problem of the connective tissue. I was actually hypermobile, and I needed really to resolve through other methods and learn to ground and breathe and lengthen. My yoga practice was actually exasperating that because it was making me more flexible, more sensitive, and I was getting overwhelmed. And my somatic practice started to give me tools, but I was always dependent on the teachers because they didn't actually educate me what cues affect me how. So in the sessions that I do with people one-on-one, I teach them first to recognize where their compensatory patterns are in specific physiological movements, flexion, extension, side bending, and rotation. And then I teach them basic somatic tools to sensory integrate and resolve a bit of the overwhelm in particular sensations. And then I teach them the basic tools of neurofascial work to start to learn to hydrate their joint spaces and have a self-care technique that is similar to brushing your teeth, but that you can do on your own, because you need to have that as a resource in your daily life. There's no other way. You cannot rely on a physio, you cannot rely on your movement class, you cannot rely on your jog, because your jog is actually going to stress your lower back. So you need something that can you need this little practice where you could hear yourself, give yourself a little bit of stability by stimulating collagen in a particular way that stimulates fluid flow, not releases the muscle. That's not what we're going. We're not working with releasing muscles. We're working with stimulating collagen, de-escalating the stress response in the body so you can sleep well, so that you can enhance your restorative functions within your nervous system on a cellular level. We're talking about cellular health, rebalancing hormones and chemical balance in your body, reconnecting with the grounded sensation in the body so that your little tail at the end of the spine can start releasing a little bit, the neck can start releasing, the lower back can start releasing, not through alignment techniques, not by positioning ourselves in particular poses, but through the sensations of rebalancing in the body on a chemical and neurofascial layer, and by stimulating collagen in the connective tissue that allows the joints to not send an electrical signal to the brain telling you that you're not safe, whether because you're hypermobile or too stiff. So I help you develop skill sets. I educate you on the compensatory patterns in your own body, and then it really depends on how much you want to feel, how able you are to connect with the sensations of your body, take on a little bit of knowledge about physiology and anatomy, and then develop some tools to learn to give yourself a short 10-15 minute session, whether you're elderly and you're doing it on your hands and feet, whether you're much younger and you want to go into deeper treatments that will require some core stability and some physical prowess on your part. But the capacity that keeps developing is the ability to hear the sensation and know what you need, and sensing in with the fluid flow of your body, which is cellular health. Cellular health and help. Cellular health that will allow you to improve the autonomic nervous system in your body that functions through cellular fluid exchange and manages digestion, joint health, joint stability and mobility autonomically. It's not a conscious decision. Eventually you start to be more able to consciously manage it, but it's a cellular response. It's autonomic. So we stimulate the autonomic nervous system function. Digestion, joint stability and mobility, sleep, cognition, mood regulation, these are all autonomic nervous system functions, and we improve them through movement, not through stimulating chemicals in your body, through movement and compression and touch, which triggers chemical rebalancing in your body, as opposed to taking pills to modulate the chemical balance. I hope this is helpful. The one thing I want you to remember from this video is that through movement and compression in particular ways, it's like it's a treatment. It's not a one way of doing it, just rolling yourself out. That's not what we do. Just rolling yourself out is to release muscular tension. We are triggering chemical rebalancing processes in your body to stimulate the sensation of health and ground and breath in your body, to rebalance the neural core and bring you back to cellular health, where your chemical and hormonal balances improve. That will improve your sleep, that will improve your digestion, that will improve your joint regulation, how stable or mobile your joints are. I hope this helps. And please know that depending on who you are and what your life history is, your body has compensated differently, and you need to learn how to work with your own sensations and your own alignment in a one-on-one setting, just for a few months, so that you get some skills. I've had to do it. Famous dancers that I've worked with have had to do it. Famous choreographers, like performance-based athletes, have had to do it. And if you're a regular pedestrian mover, you for sure will need to get some one-on-one sessions. So that's how I like to work, because I have been in this business for 20 years of exploring movement and co-regulating the body-mind sensations, which is called embodiment. And I can tell you that mechanical strategies of sport without understanding the neurofascial connection cannot shift compensatory patterns. And you can go get okay, I'm not going to speak, but there are ways that people try to solve these things in a fast, depersonalized way, and I don't believe they work. So get your cellular health back on track with some fluid flow and some self-care techniques you can do on a daily basis. Hands, feet, neurocore rebalance.